The Election Commission has made preparations to demand 60 million rupees from the government for the by-elections in Tanahu Electoral Constituency 1, Chitwan 2 and Bara 2 slated for the 23rd of April. According to the Commission, the amount is to be spent only for the management of officials and printing of ballot papers. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal announces of establishing the Journalism Development Fund to ensure professional and physical security of media and journalists. Electoral Constituency 1 of Tanahu gearing up for by-election for the seat in the House of Representatives vacated following election of President Ramchandra Paudel. Indian opposition leader Rahul Gandhi sentenced 2 years in prison in a criminal defamation case. Gandhi convicted for 2019 comments about Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's surname. And Sudur Pashchim province mark a winning start in the Lalitpur Mayor Women's Championship Cricket Tournament. See-off host Lalitpur by 51 runs. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has announced of establishment of a permanent nature of Journalism Development Fund to ensure the professional and physical security of journalists and all kinds of media. Addressing a program of the Community Radio Broadcast Association today, Prime Minister Dahal expressed the commitment of ensuring facilities for national, provincial and local media organizations, whether for profit or not for profit, with small, medium and large-scale investments. Prime Minister Dahal went on to add that a mass media training academy would be established to enhance the skills and capacities of journalists, also with the objective of promoting professional practices in all three tiers. Saying that the government did not have the freedom of being proud of having a majority, Prime Minister Dahal added that he had never witnessed the current level of frustration among the public. Also addressing the program, Nepali Congress General Secretary Gagan Thapa identified the need for prioritizing the prosperity of the citizens and development of the country. CPN Maoist Centre has geared up to withdraw its support to Lumini Province Chief Minister Leela Giri. CPN Maoist Centre had called the meeting of the Province Assembly Parliamentary Party to discuss the issue. Lumini Province Chair Sudarshan Baral said that the party will move forward based on the decision. Baral has hinted towards possibility of withdrawing support lent to the provincial government. However, Province Minister for Physical Development and Infrastructure Indrajit Tharu said that the party will make a decision only after a consensus is reached at the centre regarding sharing the term of the provincial government. Leela Giri of CPN-UML was appointed Lumini Province Chief Minister on 11th January with the support of a total of 58 lawmakers, including 2 independent parliamentarians. Maoist Centre, Janata Samajwadi and Janamat Party are currently in the government. Meanwhile, Maoist Centre has hinted towards not leaving the Koshi Province government immediately. Electoral Constituency 1 in Tanahu is gearing up for the by-election for the opposition, for the position of lawmaker that has been vacant since Nepali Congress leader Ramchandra Paudel was elected the president. Nepali Congress and CPN-UML have been considered top contenders in the race as election has been slated for 23rd of April. President Ramchandra Paudel had won in the House of Representatives election back in November from Tanahu 1, bagging more than 25,000 votes, defeating CPN-UML's candidate Ek Bahadur Rana Magar by over 5,000 votes. Paudel had the backing of Maoist Centre and Unified Socialist. Rebel candidate from Nepali Congress Govinda Raj Joshi, who had filed his independent candidate, had managed to collect 6,886 votes. Bikash Sigdel, fielded by Rashtriya Swatantra Party, had bagged 6,044 votes. In the nearing by-election, the ruling alliance is once again expected to field a candidate from Nepali Congress. However, substantial vote swings have been expected as the previous candidates, Joshi, Rashtriya Prajatantra Party and Swatantra Party altogether carry around 15,000 votes to their names. In this scenario, the position is wide open for now for parties and candidates. The land of District Court Jajarkot and the Office of the Government Attorney have not been released amid failure to implement the decision of the Supreme Court. The joint bench of Supreme Court Justice duo Ananda Mohan Bhattarai and Manoj Kumar Sharma on 22nd of October 2019 had issued a verdict that the land occupied by land mafias would be handed to the concerned administration. However, 5.2 rupees of land of the district court and 1.9 rupees of land of the office of the government attorney have remained occupied by land mafias, which is against the court verdict. The newly constructed building of Siddhicharan Municipality, Ward number 11 in Okhaldhunga has leaked in less than 2 months of laying of concrete. Complaints have been filed at the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority and the municipality as the building has begun leaking even before the completion of its construction. The local residents have alleged the technicians of the municipality of colluding with contractors for low-quality work as the roof of the under-construction building has already begun leaking. The construction responsibility for buildings of 4 wards of Siddhicharan Municipality was assigned to Nayak Construction at 11,700,000 rupees. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what do you term the government effort to include migrant workers in the Social Security program? Your options are A, good initiative, B, challenges in implementation, and C, move to seek popularity. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. Indian opposition leader Rahul Gandhi has been sentenced to 2 years in prison in a criminal defamation case. Gandhi was convicted by the court in Gujarat state for 2019 comments about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's surname during an election rally. He will not go to jail immediately. He was granted bail for 30 days and will file an appeal against the conviction. The Congress Party MP was present in court for sentencing, which comes a year before general elections are due. Speaking at an election rally in Karnataka state in April 2019, ahead of the last general election, Gandhi has said that why all these thieves had Modi as their surname. He had included Nirav Modi, Lalit Modi and Narendra Modi in that statement. Nirav Modi is a fugitive Indian diamond tycoon, while Lalit Modi is a former chief of the Indian Premier League who had been banned for life by the country's cricket board. Gandhi argued that he had made the comment to highlight corruption and it was not directed against any community. The case against him was filed on the basis of a complaint by Purnesh Modi, a lawmaker from India's governing Bharatiya Janata Party, who said that Gandhi's comments had defamed the entire Modi community. But some have said they are puzzled by the order. Any attempt to arrest President Vladimir Putin after the International Criminal Court (ICC) issued a warrant for the Kremlin chief would amount to a declaration of war against Russia, his ally Dmitry Medvedev said on Thursday. The ICC issued an arrest warrant on Friday accusing Putin of the war crime of illegally deporting hundreds of children from Ukraine. It said there are reasonable grounds to believe that Putin bears individual criminal responsibility. Former President Dmitry Medvedev told Russian media that the ICC, which countries including Russia, China and the United States do not recognize, was a legal non-entity that had ever done anything significant. Any attempt to detain Putin, though, would be a declaration of war, said Medvedev, who serves as deputy chairperson of Putin's powerful Security Council. The Kremlin says the ICC arrest warrant is an outrageously partisan decision, but meaningless with respect to Russia. Russian officials deny war crimes in Ukraine and say the West has ignored what it says are Ukrainian war crimes. Russia's February 24 invasion of Ukraine has triggered the deadliest European conflict since World War II and the biggest confrontation between Moscow and the West since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. Medvedev said relations with the West were probably at the worst point ever. Train services were disrupted and some schools shut while garbage piled up on the streets of France on Thursday as part of a 9th nationwide day of strikes against a deeply unpopular bill to raise the pension age. One train out of 3 was circulating at Saint-Lazare train station, and SNCF warned that traffic will remain disrupted until Friday in Lille. President Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday said the legislation, which his government pushed through Parliament without a vote last week, would come into force by year-end despite escalating anger across the country. Protests against the policy changes, which lift the retirement age by 2 years to 64 and accelerate an increase in the number of years one must work to draw a full pension, have drawn huge crowds and rallies organized by unions since January. Most protests have been peaceful, but anger has mounted since the government pushed the bill through Parliament without a vote last week. The past 7 nights have been spontaneous demonstrations in Paris and other cities with rubbish bins set ablaze and scuffles with police. Labor unions said Thursday's day of strikes and protests would draw huge crowds against what they described as Macron's scorn and lies. Polls show a wide majority of French opposed to the pension legislation as well as the government's decision to push it through Parliament without a vote. China is willing to enhance communications with Ghana to seek a proper resolution of its debt problem, its foreign ministry said on Thursday. China's foreign ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin made the remark in response to a question on Ghana's finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta visiting Beijing on Wednesday to discuss Ghana's request for a debt restructuring. Ghana, which is struggling with its worst economic crisis in a generation, secured a staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund (IMF) in December for a $3 billion loan, though asking leaders to provide financing assurances is a condition for the IMF's board to sign off the program. China is Ghana's biggest bilateral creditor with about $1.7 billion of debt. Debate is intensifying across Australia on whether plans to recognize Indigenous people in its constitution would help improve the lives of one of the most incarcerated people on earth. Australia is seeking to give more recognition to its Aboriginal people who have inhabited the land for 60,000 years but are not mentioned in the 122-year-old constitution. Any constitutional alterations require a national referendum. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Thursday revealed the question the government wants to ask the referendum as well as the proposed amendment to the constitution. Australians will vote between October and December on amending the constitution to create a consultative committee in Parliament called Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Voice. The path to the current referendum began as a process of regional dialogues across the country, which culminated at the sacred monolith landmark of Uluru in 2017, with about 250 First Nations representatives producing the Uluru Statement from the Heart. This document calls for a First Nations voice enshrined in the Constitution. Thomas Mayo, a signatory to the Uluru Statement and a member of the referendum working group, believes the voice to Parliament not only symbolically recognizes Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as Australia's first peoples, but gives greater fairness to Indigenous Australians. Indigenous people began to be included in Australia's census figures after a referendum to amend the Constitution in 1967, more than 60 years after it was established as a nation in 1901. The The earthquakes that struck southern Turkey last month have inflicted heavy losses on the country's agriculture sector, as many farms in the 11 quake-stricken provinces have been destroyed, farmers have been displaced, and many who are still there cannot afford production materials such as seeds and fertilizers. Osmaniye, one of the quake-hit provinces, is close to the northwestern border with Syria and is a province dominated by animal husbandry and agriculture. The largest fruit and vegetable farm in the region, covering about 6 square kilometers and growing strawberries and mushrooms exported to the United States, Russia and the Middle East, suffered heavy losses. The quakes have not only affected the growth of strawberries but also caused problems in picking them. Met said the first round of picking ended last November, but the second season had just begun when the earthquake hit. Under normal circumstances, during the peak picking season, a strawberry farm of such a large scale requires at least 1,200 workers to work together, but now there are less than 30 pickers. Due to the untimely picking, many strawberries have begun to rot. According to preliminary estimates, the direct loss of the strawberry farm is at least 3 million Turkish lira, or about $160,000, but the farm's losses are far more than that, as the earthquakes have almost destroyed the mushroom greenhouses. Damage to the mushroom garden, including equipment, is estimated at up to 5 million lira. Experts say the Turkish government should take effective measures to help the 11 quake-stricken provinces overcome any difficulties, as they account for 15.5% of the country's total agricultural production. Palestinians prepared for Ramadan at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem as the holy month begins on Thursday. In previous years, Ramadan has been violent clashes between Israeli police and Palestinians, particularly around the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, Islam's third holiest site, revered as the Temple Mount by Jews. Ramadan coincides this year with Judaism's Passover and Christian Easter. The Israeli-occupied West Bank has seen a surge of confrontations in recent months, with near-daily Israeli military raids and escalating violence by Jewish settlers amid a spate of attacks by Palestinians. The royal Hashemite family has custodianship of Muslim and Christian holy sites in the eastern part of the city, an area controlled by Jordanian forces from 1949 to 1967. We have more news coming up, but right now it's time for another short break.
Sports news.
Pashchim province have marked a winning start at the Lalitpur Mayor Women's Championship Cricket Tournament. In the first match, Sudur Pashchim secured a 51-run win over Lalitpur Mayor 11. In the match played at the Tribhuvan University Cricket Grounds in Ketipur, Sudur Pashchim won the toss and elected to bat, where they were posted a total of 137 runs for the loss of 3 wickets in 20 overs, as Samjana Khadka scored a half-century. Bindu Ral scored 18, while Ruby Podar contributed 28 runs. Samjana remained unbeaten at 51 runs from 45 balls. Her innings included 6 fours, while Kavita Joshi was not out at 27 runs. Kritika Marasini picked 2 wickets for Lalitpur. Chasing a target of 138 runs, Lalitpur were restricted to 86 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in 20 overs. Lakshmi Chaudhary top scored with 25 runs. Helisa Gurung scored 19, while Kanchan Shrestha contributed 16 runs. None of the other batters scored in double digits. Sudur Pashchim's Samjana was adjudged the player of the match. In another match of the tournament, an all-round performance from skipper Sita Rana Magar helped Armed Police Force secure a 10-wicket win over Madhesh province. APF won the toss and put Madhesh to bat first, where they were bowled out for a paltry 58 runs in 19.4 overs. Praveen top scored for Madhesh with 25 runs, while none of the other batters scored in double digits. Sonu Khadka picked 4 wickets while giving away only 9 runs in her 2.4 overs. Sita picked 3 wickets while Rekha Rao, Neri Thapa and Indu Verma shared a wicket apiece. In reply, APF chased the target in 7.3 overs without losing any wicket. The Asian Cricket Council has made public the schedule of the tournament today, based on which host Nepal are to play Malaysia in their first match of the ACC Men's Premier Cup cricket tournament. Based on the new schedule, the Group A includes Nepal alongside Oman, Qatar, Malaysia and Saudi Arabia. The Group B includes the United Arab Emirates alongside Hong Kong, Kuwait, Singapore and Bahrain. Meanwhile, the Asian Cricket Governing Body, the Asian Cricket Council ACC, has also rescheduled the tournament, based on which it will be held in Kathmandu between April 18 to the 1st of May. Host Nepal are to play Malaysia on the 18th of April. They will take on Oman on April 21, Saudi Arabia on April 24 and Qatar on April 27. Footballers Suja Shrestha and Ranjit Dhimal are to leave for Australia tonight. Captain of the Martyrs Memorial A Division League side Machindra club Sujal Shrestha and defender Ranjit Dhimal have decided to leave Nepal for opportunities in Australia. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.